Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today. I'm Tom Michoni. I'm the Director of Traffic Engineering Operations at the Turnpike Commission. We're excited to partner with Tim Heroes and the Tyler Loggins-Slager Foundation to host this community event. Safety is incorporated into everything we do at the Pennsylvania Turnpike Commission. It's in our mission, vision, values, and daily operations. But we can't do it alone. Our roadway is only as safe as the people who drive on it. That's why you and events like this are critical to helping us educate and raise awareness about safety measures such as the Pennsylvania State Move Over Law. Just like in work zones, slowing down or changing lanes to provide a buffer between moving traffic and emergency vehicles, tow trucks, and road maintenance crews can save lives. Most people aren't familiar with what it feels like when a vehicle travels by you at 70+ miles an hour, passing a few feet from where you're standing. I have no doubt the first responders and highway workers that are here with us today can tell you of at least one story that demonstrates how powerful that force is. Providing extra space allows our responders and highway workers to work safely and concentrate on responding to the situation that put them on the roadway in the first place. If there's one thing you leave here with today, we hope it's a better understanding, appreciation, and respect for why it's important to do your part by slowing down, paying attention, and staying alert whenever you see vehicles, first responders, tow trucks, and maintenance vehicles stop along the shoulder of the roadway. By remembering to comply with the Pennsylvania State Move Over Law, you help emergency responders and highway workers return home to their families each and every day, which is something that they deserve. Now, I'd like to introduce Todd Lease, founder of Tim Heroes. Todd?
If I fall, you guys come and catch me. We have all these rotated records. You'd think somebody could bring a rotated record out here. Thank you. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to partner with the Pennsylvania Turnpike Commission on this outreach effort. I retired from the Turnpike last year, and the mission isn't done. If you walk and see the worker memorial there, out of all those fallen heroes, 110 of them have been struck by vehicles and killed. Okay, 159 Pennsylvania emergency responders have been struck and killed all times. We average 2 responders, Pennsylvania responders killed every year. We've already had 1 killed this year so far. Okay, 33 emergency responders have been killed this year, which is 33 too many, 1's too many. I'm not going to speak very long, which is probably a good thing because otherwise I'd go on and on. But we did get a governor's proclamation, and I wanted to just read a few remarks from him. We're glad to be here today to celebrate National Move Over Day, and glad that everybody here is helping to celebrate National Move Over Day. We're prioritizing safety of all Pennsylvanians and recognize the bravery of responders. You're all responders. Everybody that's out on the roadway is an emergency responder, so we can't forget that fact, that we're all a team. Governor Josh Shapiro signed a proclamation earlier this month officially recognizing this day as Move Over Day in Pennsylvania. So next up is going to be Senator Mastriano, who back in 2020 helped us enhance the Move Over Law. So he is one of my heroes, just for all he's done. So Senator Mastriano.
It sure is an honor to be here with you guys. I'm looking around here, see so many friends. My own ambulance driver on that Move Over parade we had by the Capitol. I'm so thankful for each of you here. You know, at the Senate level, the odyssey began really in my office with Tom Brooker, and I'll be talking about Tom in a second here. Tom, there you are. But when the idea came from Tom Brooker, I spoke with my fellow senators, including Senator Kim Ward, Dave Argall, John DeSantis, who all also were prime sponsors with me. It's never an individual effort here. And we championed the slow down move over law, which became Act 105. That was our first step in the right direction, of course, which requires drivers approaching an emergency response area to move out of that lane further away or no more than 20 miles per hour less than the posted speed limit so they can pass safely. We looked at the results after 1 year. The numbers were nearly not as low as we had hoped. And so then more ideas from the field, from Tom Brooker and others, a blue light law. And as you know, that was signed into law as well. And so when a tow truck operator, if you're not aware, when they're in an operation, they're allowed lawfully to use blue lights on the back of their trucks now, hoping they'll think it's a police car or something and pay more attention. And so, as well as increasing fines and other suspension of licenses if you keep on violating the law to save lives. So, Tom, can you come up here for a second, brother? I can't stand here alone, man, when you were the guy that came to my office. So what inspired this legislation for me was meeting with tow truck operator Thomas Bricker with Abe's Auto Service and Towing in Chambersburg. Come on up with me, please. And Tom advocated for you after telling me so many stories about friends and even close calls for yourself. And he messages me weekly with close calls or tragic deaths on the side of the roads. Why did you feel the need to come talk to me, and how did this all happen?
The whole point to do this was to save lives. It's not about a single person doing a thing to get recognition. It's to save lives. I don't care who you are working along that side of that road. We all have families. We need to make it home. And once my friend Brian Shockey was hit on Interstate 81 in Greencastle, I knew something needed to be done. I reached out to a senator that was in office before Doug, and I was kind of blew off about it. He didn't have time, wasn't something to pursue. When Doug took office, he opened his door, he listened to things I had to say, and here we are. Doug has been a great guy, and my whole point in this is to save lives. Unfortunately, Tyler was lost before this law went into effect. And once I heard the news that Tyler was hit and killed, I sent a message to Doug. Doug said, now it will be done. And I can thank this man for putting every single person that works on this highway first and foremost. It's not about what company's on a truck. It doesn't matter if you're a PennDOT worker. It doesn't matter if you're a civilian sitting along that interstate with your four-ways on. Every life is important in this state and in this country. Thanks, Doug.
Thank you, Tom. I love you. So Tom and I met, and we started putting together legislation with his help and the tow truck community. And another champion that rose up here, of course, is Deb Loudenschlager. Deb, if you can come up with me for a moment. And this is, you're not prepared for this. I didn't give you a heads up. And that's when we heard about the terrible situation with your son. And you took that tragedy and turned it into something awful, terrible, to something to save other lives. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, because without your voice here, I don't think we would have succeeded.
Thank you, Senator. Yeah, the family, just after Tyler's death, we needed to do something. We couldn't just let this go for everybody that's out there. So we are at events like this. We go to any events and just try to pass the slow down and move over message. You know, I think maybe I've been seeing some people moving over more so recently. It's when I see something at the side of the road, it does look like there are some people moving over, but it's still not good enough. There's still people getting struck and killed and struck and injured. So we're going to keep doing, as the Tyler Loudenschlager Foundation, we're going to do what we need to do, and you know, hopefully we can make a difference. Thank you, and be safe, everyone.
And as you see, it's a team effort here. And I'm looking around out here, and I see many other more advocates out there trying to make a difference on the side of the roads here. It's not about any particular senator, it's about this community here. So in 2020, we passed the law, Slow Down, Move Over. didn't have the effect we wanted. Tow community, Tom Brecker, Deb, and others, we got to do more. 2022, the blue light law. This year, we're working with the Senate leadership. Actually, the leader of the Senate, President Pro Tem Kim Ward, asked that we introduce a resolution designating October 19th as National Move Over Day here in Pennsylvania. Additionally, we're going to continue to work with PennDOT and others to have signs placed on the sides of the road to increase the visibility of slow down, move over, but also to remember those that lost their lives, putting a face with those that lost their lives. So hopefully that will get shock people to say, I need to take this seriously and not hit another Tyler or any other person on the side of the road, so they can go home after doing their day and enjoy and love their family. So with that, I'm praying a blessing over all you first responders, that God will continue to bless and keep you and put a hedge of protection over you on the side of the roads as you do your job and as you're able to go home at night and love your family. And I'm praying all that in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right, I'm not climbing up there again. I'm fat, I'm tired. That's how we work. Next up, I'd like to introduce Representative Tom Mahaffey from this district. Tom has been to several events with me that we focused on safety, and I'm very proud of all his efforts to help us keep the responders safe.
Thank you, Todd. It is a pleasure to be here today, and as Todd said, we have attended these events. I think if you have broken down lately, a flat tire, whatever it may be along the road, and I think Tom pointed out this earlier, when you're sitting along that road and people are passing you at 70 miles an hour, it feels like they're going 200 miles an hour. It's scary, it's not a good thing, and you as first responders, tow truck driver, all of you are first responders, as was said earlier, to help those out that are in need at that time when you break down. There is nothing worse than that. And then we talk about our construction workers. You're out there every day fixing the roads for us, doing the things that you need to do, and people are driving by at extremely high rates of speed. Here's what I suggest. Slow down. Slow down. Move over. You'll get there on time. And we want you to get there as safe as anybody else. But when you see some of the videos that Todd and I saw when we were a flagger force, it changes your mind how you drive on the highway. I can tell you that right now. And for those of you that work out there, God love you. But 1 in 5 people say that they're driving distracted. The phones that we have out today, the things that are going on in our cars, so many people are so distracted with other things rather than driving their car. That has to stop. Put down your phone. You can make a call later. You can text somebody. You can read an email some other time. But you need to do that. You need to enforce that. That's why we're having the amount of accidents, and it's an epidemic. We all know it. We all see it. And we have more and more accidents out there. I know we talk to our fire companies, our local fire companies will tell you you're probably not fighting fires as much as you are going out and going to accidents. It's just something that needs to stop, and we have to do that. Today is about awareness, and this effort that's pushed, even though it's only one day, needs to be pushed every day for 365. And why I say that is we have to make sure that everybody knows how to move over, and we have to identify that and affirm that this is a law and this is something that needs to be done when you're driving. Slow down, move over. Thank you so much. I do have a citation, and we are going to pass a House resolution this week to make sure that we identify Move Over Day in Pennsylvania as not only a national day, but also here in PA. Thank you so much, Todd. Thank you for putting this together.
Thank you. I'm going to call up the next speaker, but I want you to look at this banner. This banner has been all over the country and has been signed by many, many people supporting the Move Over law. Okay, we have names on the front, we have names on the back. Before you leave here today, we'll leave this up here in the front, and we want you to sign it somewhere. We have different color pens, so sign your name and think about that whenever you're passing by a vehicle that you need to move over for. Are we going to change everybody's attitude about the Move Over law? Hopefully at some point, but we just have to start with one person at a time. And if we do one person per day at a time, that's one less responder that's going to get hit. And possibly save a life. So next up is going to be Jack Sullivan. Jack Sullivan is the Director of Training for the Emergency Responder Safety Institute. Jack's been trying to get me to be the Director of Training for the Emergency Responder Safety Institute. I'm the Deputy Director of Training, so I keep, every time he says, you need to step up, it's like, who are you? Why are you here? But Jack was involved in starting the Responder Safety Institute after the Lionville Fire Company crash. How many of you have taken TIM training and saw that crash, right? So Jack is one of the people that have helped make this possible. Are you gonna get up there and speak?
Sure, why not?
So this guy who's 1 year older than me jumps up like a spring chicken.
I didn't jump up. Good afternoon. Thanks for the invite. For me, this journey started in March of 1998 when 10 of our emergency responders were struck by a tractor trailer on the Pennsylvania Turnpike near the Downingtown interchange. Firefighter Dave Good did not get to go home at the end of the day, and 9 of the other personnel were in the hospital with serious injuries. Some of them were never able to return to their duties as volunteer fire and EMS personnel. As the safety officer in Lionville that had just retired from the department and moved to Virginia, the accident or crash, as we refer to them today, struck me pretty hard. Because in 1998, roadway incident safety was not on our radar screen. I gotta tell you, when I started in the fire service in 1972 as a rookie in Paoli Fire Company in Chester County, one of my jobs was to stand out on Lancaster Avenue when the rigs came back from a fire and hold up traffic in the eastbound lanes and the westbound lanes and let the apparatus back into the station on Lancaster Avenue. And in 1972, if I put my helmet on and went out and stood in front of traffic and put my hand up, traffic stopped. And they waited until the engine backed into the station. How's that work out for you today? We're dealing with an entirely different type of driver today than we were 20, 30 years ago. And we need to act differently in the way we do things. So the Emergency Responder Safety Institute started teaching roadway incident safety strategy and tactics for emergency responders in the year 2000. We've grown immensely since then. We have an online learning network that is freely available to any of you for responders to learn about all aspects of responding safely to roadway incidents, or at least as safe as we know these days. In the last few years, though, as we've looked back over our shoulder, and I got to do that sometimes because I get so frustrated with the number of struck by incidents, injuries, property damage, and fatalities that we see each year, and I keep going, what have we accomplished in the last 26 years? The answer is a lot. Unfortunately, we have to change with the times. So one of the things that we've started to focus on recently in the last few years is we need to do a better job of public education. We need to do a better job of training drivers. We need to do a better job of changing their behavior out on the roadways. So we've started to work on more resources and materials for you to use to get the word across to the public who are out there driving around our incidents every day. What we have available is free and readily available on the website at respondersafety.com. And when I look back over my shoulder over the last 26 years, I have to remind myself we've come a long way. Back in 1998, we weren't using signs, cones, flares, blocking vehicles, high visibility vests, chevrons on the back of emergency vehicles, the fancy warning lights that we've got available to us today. The one thing that has changed is the drivers that we're trying to communicate that message to. And everything that we've told you to do over the last 26 years that you're doing is what we call visually oriented. People have to be looking out the windshield as they're traveling down the road to see your flashing lights and your temporary traffic control devices and whatever other materials you have out there. Digital alerting is helping to get the message into some vehicles. Haas Alert has a representative here today that offers that kind of service. You need to understand that we have to get that message into the cab of vehicles that are traveling toward you at a high rate of speed. And sometimes the visual things that we've put out for them just don't work because they're not looking for them. So look for those technology advancements and look for an opportunity to get the message across to the public on how they should operate their vehicles around incident scenes. We'll keep doing what we've been doing for the last 26 years to support your effort on that. We need help with it to get the word out. That's your job. We'll give you as many materials as we can, but your job is to get it out to the public. We'll continue to work on any of the new technology that's coming about that may make your job safer on the road as responders. But at the same time, the thing that we really need to concentrate on is changing driver behavior. And we've got a long way to go on that. And it starts at the high school level. We even have one program that starts at the kindergarten level and teaches children who might be riding in the back seat how to communicate to their parents that they don't feel safe when their parents are talking on the phone and driving the car. That message has resonated with a lot of people, so we know it works. We need to do more things like that. Thank you for the time today. I appreciate you all coming out, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
All right, that's it for our speakers. Please make sure you stop up and sign the banner. Make sure you visit all the vendors and all the people here. And thank you for all coming out. Thank you for our sponsors. This is our first year for doing this event. Hopefully we'll continue this. What I need you to do as you leave here is, one, don't be the D driver. Who here is D drivers? Raise your hand. You know you are, right? Brian's honest. Dave's honest. The rest of you guys, liars. All right? Drug, drowsy, distracted, dangerous. We got to stop doing that. We need you to be the voice. So this is National Move Over Day isn't just a one-day event. As the speaker said, it's a 365-day event. We need you to be the voice, so please go out and be the voice and talk to people about the Move Over Law. Explain to them what the Move Over Law is. And thank you for coming out. Have a great day.